What up, everyone? You know who I am. I'm Jack Slater, aka the Comic Outlaw. Yeah, check us out on YouTube. And right now, we're dropping the final issue. Yeah, that's right, the final issue of JLA Year One. And this has been a mixed bag for me. You know, I mean, it had good points, it had bad points, but this is the final one. This is the big rumble, with basically every hero that exists right now in this DC universe going up against an alien menace who's striving to take over the world by destroying it, resurrecting it, and making it more to their liking. You know, classic alien scheme. Meanwhile, like I said, the old JSA, the new Justice League of America, Superman, Batman, the Doom Patrol, everybody is fighting these different aliens that have invaded Earth. They started out with a group. They kind of made their way, you know, like a super secret, like CIA group that kind of got took over by the aliens. They broke off. They did their own thing. Their name was a Locust. They created a bunch of aliens. They used the JLA powers as templates in order to beat the other superpower beings. They captured a lot of them. The JLA ended up initiating a jailbreak. And basically all havoc is breaking loose right now as every hero is trying to deal with all these villains. And they're everywhere. As you notice, there's classic members of the JLA. There's the Black Hawks from World War II. Like I said, this is basically everyone. Everyone's pitching in. Everyone's trying to blow stuff up. Everyone's trying to get a hand in. Because this is an all-hands-on-deck situation. And as you can see, these are the different creatures that appeared throughout the run of the issues. The flying birds, the ice creatures, all these different alien beings. They're kind of like insects to the hive. And of course, this is one of the soldiers that ended up giving himself over to the aliens. He became kind of a big fiery being. And he's a little pissed off because they're having resistance from people they already supposed to have captured. But meanwhile, someone else, not a hero, but someone who's in it for himself, has other plans. And that man is Vandal Savage. Because he'll be damned if he's going to let someone else take over the world if it's not him. And meanwhile, our heroes are fighting. You see Superman's pitching in, Adam's pitching in. And this kind of gives you an idea of what the JLA will become. Since it's only several members right now, since it's supposed to be just year one. And I love how Adam uses his powers so he just kind of explodes. And also there's an appearance from a little guy called Dollman. A little guy with superhuman strength. And as you can tell, everyone's pitching in. Everyone's trying to help. Hero and villain in some cases. Because in certain situations, certain heroes and villains work together in order to save their own asses. This is evident with Spectre right now, working with one of his enemies. Right before he's taken. And they probably turned him into a snack cake. But the spirit of vengeance will avenge him, because that's what he does. And you notice Barry's going around Central City looking for Iris, which he ends up finding her. And this kind of sets something off in Black Canary, because Black Canary has had a thing for Flash for a long, long time. He ends up giving her a little embrace, a little kiss, and this kind of like permanently drives a nail in the coffin between Black Canary and Flash. And it's kind of funny because under that wig, she's a brunette too. So, but anyway, she's about to get attacked by a alien, and out of nowhere, Green Arrow and Speedy save her. Yes. And this opens a brand new world for Black Canary. And of course, Green Lantern's flying around doing his thing, gets blasted by a yellow beam, because these people know that Green Lantern's weakness is the color yellow. But Aquaman shows up and lends a helping hand. And like I said, at this point, it's just a rumble. Everyone's fighting everyone. Even if like they're not members of a group, even if anything. And normal, everyday people are also pitching in to help. Without powers. Everyone is fighting this. Literally everyone. Meanwhile, good old Simon, the one that let everyone out, and kind of was taken over by the alien and was shot back into life, is trying to figure out what he's going to do. And his nephew, Snapper Carr, is backing him up. Meanwhile, they're having a hard time with these creatures, even with magic. They're having a hard time defeating them. Science. They just keep getting back up. And I love that little picture of Vigilante right there. You hardly ever get to see him. One of my favorites in the JLU run. But anyways, everyone's regrouping. Everyone's trying to figure out what they're going to do next. Their next move, their next strategy on how they're going to get rid of these things for good, because they're basically just containing them. But Vandal Savage appears out of nowhere and gives them a weapon. Of course, no one trusts Savage. But Savage had other plans. Savage sent in a decoy. He sent in Clayface. Because they knew that they weren't going to trust him and they were going to try to capture him. So Savage, in a very ingenious way, sent in a decoy. Sent in Clayface, which is just all kinds of cool. Meanwhile, all the magic beings gathered together, and I'm talking Stranger, Dr. Fate, Phantom Menace, to help out the Green Lantern, and they begin firing down upon these creatures. But it just isn't enough. These creatures' power crumbles theirs. Magic's not doing the trick. It's not working against these creatures. They have to find another way. They have to use the device that Savage gave them. And with this, the Martian is reaching out with his mind, trying to shut them all down at once. But the strain is too great. It's starting to destroy him as well. He needs help. Other people to anchor him to the world. And that's when Aquaman reaches out valiantly, grabs onto the Martian, and starts sharing his psychic link as well. The other members of the JLA follow suit, and is able to give the Martian the mental power that he needs in order to reach out through these creatures through the device and shut them down. See, these creatures have like a big shutdown button, a fail-safe that usually all alien dictators have. And of course it works. As they start shouting out, one of them, "We have won," before he disintegrates. As these creatures start to dissipate one by one by one. All of them dying, and she could feel their pain. They could see these creatures screaming out, dying. And others being pushed back into the void where they came from. Being pushed back into their ships. And the general, the bad guy in the beginning, of course, also gets pushed back into this void by the original members of the JLA, closing the chapter on Locust, the alien menace. And as everyone gathers together, shaking hands, glad-handing, Superman reaches over to Green Lantern and gives him a maybe one day I might be a member. But first. And of course, this is just showing you what happened with the Justice League, how they liberated Earth, everyone worked together, everyone kind of received medals, you know. And over the time, the Justice League kept working together, they kept solving cases. And now, they're having a moment where they're kind of bonding. And of course, Canary and Flash had their little flirtation, but it's basically over. She found a new man. She found herself a Robin Hood. And now they kind of thinking they ought to do some recruiting. So they kind of throw everyone's that they want name into a little thing and they pick. And of course, Simon shows up and he kind of sells the rights over to the Justice League to a new buyer, Oliver Queen, aka the Green Arrow. And this was JLA Year One. And as always, I'm the Comic Outlaw, and I'll catch you on the flip side, yeah.